What's up, homie?
How's it going, Mike?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
It's good to
We
see
make it.
you, man.
It's good to see you too. How have you been? I understand you've been doing pretty well with everything in Pittsburgh. Like the Shy's really hooked you up and cued you into things.
Man, it's just been ever since I talked to her, man, it's just been great. Um,
Mm.
after I got into your stuff, I've really went down the path of like doom and stoner rock, man, and like completely different scene than thrash and death metal for sure.
Yeah, it's not as I mean, I think all the people are in a similar vein in that everyone's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I think the Doomsters are a little older.
Yeah.
The doom and stoner people are a little bit older, and I think a lot of us have been through other genres before we got to where we are now.
Yeah.
So you'll find like a lot of like sort of older hardcore guys got into stoner rock. Like they like slowed down a little bit, and you're like, oh, Sabbath is pretty good, isn't it? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you get that, and then you also get like your emos and punks who that's always really interesting. Those guys because they come from this very melodic, you know, background, and then they bring in like the heavy, and it gets really interesting. Like so you get these like beautiful choruses and stuff like that, and great singing, but then like it's like heavy and sludgy, and that's pretty cool too. It's I mean personally I love the genre. I think another thing we get is like we get guys who were thrashers when they were younger who just don't want to play as fast anymore.
Yeah.
you know so it all crosses over. I think the genre of doom and stoner, those two coincide, and I think it's where a lot of people land in later in their life, just to like they chill out a little bit. It's like, oh, it is nice when something gets quiet sometimes, and you know it is kind of nice to like play a little slower. Oh, I don't like banging my head that hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that stuff. It's, oh, you mean a mosh pit is doesn't have. I don't need a mosh pit.
Yeah.
I like a whole bunch of people just going like this. That's nice too. I don't like to see people getting hurt at shows, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's what happens when you get older. Maybe you have kids or something, and like you just get a little bit older, and it's like, like we're still pissed off about stuff, you
Sure.
know, but we're less maybe overall aggressive about it. It's not as tight. It's a lot more woosah.
And what I noticed from all of that is like sometimes like before I started this whole thing, which has only been like a year and a half, but like
Uh-huh.
before this, I was like, I want speed. If it's fast, I want it faster.
Hmm.
But it seems now like by lightening off the gas a little bit makes the heavier seem heavier, and it's almost like a palate cleanser at times. And to discover bands like when I was talking to Ox, for instance, from Canada, and they can be really heavy and gritty too. And it's like the Doom has that heaviness and the weight, but it's just brought about in a different manner. And circling back to what you just said about killer choruses and great lead singing, what
Hmm.
about this album you guys just released? This live album. And I'll be honest, when I listened to it a couple times yesterday and a couple times today, just to get re-familiar with it before I talk to you.
Hmm.
Dude, your singing is fucking badass live. Like I liked it so much better than the album, no offense. I I really liked it, man. I could tell like some sincerity and some passion in your voice, and it really resonated well coming across, man. Really enjoyed this album, man.
Well, thank you so much. I do work on singing quite a bit. I don't have a natural capacity for it, so I work on it. Um, I think I have decent instincts, but I had to work on pitch and power. Where's a voice supposed to come from, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been an ongoing thing that I work on. And So I appreciate that. I mean, I think what happens a lot of times in the studio is like you have to do it over and over and over again. Like, oh, that wasn't quite it. Not quite, you know. Um, and so there, you know, there's a, you know, there's what do you call it, clams. You know, there's parts where I'm singing on the live thing. You know, they're not perfect. It's not adjusted at all. Like, you know, we didn't do any pitch correction. That's if you were in the room that night, that's what you heard. You know,
Oh, okay.
uh, we mixed it, but there's, you know, I didn't re-sing anything or replay anything. It's all that's live, you know. So there's, you know, no sweetening on the vocals, nothing. Um, we got the raw tracks and we just mixed it. You know, we put things where we wanted it to be,
Sure.
and we got it mastered. But none of those things are going to fix if I sang out of tune or if I hit played guitar poorly or whatever. So it's honest. And like, I think sometimes when you perform when you're performing in the studio, you know, you get warmed up and then you take after take to get it where you want it to be. That's always going to be different from just going for it live, you know, because when you just go for it live, um, you're more you're just going for it. You know what I mean? You're putting it out there. It's the whole thing is there, right? When I'm
Sure.
recording in a studio, I don't have a guitar around my neck. I'm not covered with sweat. I'm not like in the moment with the boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm I'm you know working on making a very good recording.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
It
I
sounds it though. It sounds it.
oh, thank you, but live, I'm just kind of going for it. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's do this. You know, so I'm throwing down as hard as I can. You know, and I would never claim to be a particularly dynamic performer. I don't jump around. I'm an old man. You know, I don't like hurl my body around. I'm not a madman. I just kind of. But what I do, I think, is perform with sincerity and honesty, and I do put everything I have into it at the moment. And I hopefully that's what's coming across to you. Like that's what's you know what you're picking up off of it. Um,
Well, I clearly grabbed that. I mean,
well,
I
thank
think
you.
like, and I think it was most evident in as the album went on, which I'm sure you guys just, it was one set, right? You guys
Yeah,
didn't like break it up
yeah,
between different venues or anything. So as you got to Bummer Bridge, man, like I listened to that a couple times today and I was like, I was kind of like, I like to compare people so that way like listeners or viewers know like what to think. And I was like at a cross between Screaming Jay Hawkins and Leslie West because like, and those are like some big heavy hitters, man. And like
yeah,
the guitar tone on Bummer Bridge was just like it had that southern hospitality, soulful feeling, just
yeah.
like Leslie West, but it has like the soul from Screaming Jay Hawkins, but the sincerity too. The vocals aren't like you said, you're not like Taylor Swift or a pop singer. You have a
Right.
bit of grit to your voice, which I think like if you were like Taylor Swift, they probably wouldn't even listen to you. But I really enjoyed Bummer Bridge, man. You could have just put that one song out and I'd have been like, fuck it, man, I'm good. You know?
Well, so funny thing, yeah, I would take you back to June in Brooklyn that night. It was very hot. It was very humid.
Yeah.
And Bummer Bridge is an old song. It's on our first record, Magnasonic. And I play that song on autopilot at this point. Like I know what my hands are doing. So I can just focus on like blasting it out, you know. And it was really hot that night, and I was dressed basically as I am right now, a battle vest and a shirt and jeans and shoes. And it was really hot, and I was sweating like crazy, and I was throwing down as hard as I possibly could. Um, I don't really remember the end. That's the second to the last song we played. I don't 100% remember playing it. I just remember like it. I remember it went okay. Like I was like, yeah, we didn't fuck up. You know what I mean? But I don't really. The second half of the set, I don't remember it very much at all because apparently I had heat stroke. Um, no, seriously, when we got done playing, we finished the last song after that, and we got all the stuff off the stage, and I couldn't lift my arms.
Oh man.
Yeah, like I had heat stroke pretty bad. Like I was pretty dehydrated,
Yeah.
and and like luckily my girlfriend was there, and she was like pouring water down my throat, and my bandmates are good guys. They're like, all right, Erik's having a problem. Let's get this shit out of the way for him.
Yeah.
But like playing Bummer Bridge, like again, like those words, they still mean a lot to me. Um, but they're in my head. You know what I mean? Like they're secondary thoughts to me at this point. Like I can spit those words out. As soon as the guitar's in my hand, I can play that song. Um, but in terms of playing it, I don't remember that much about it other than like, I think it went okay. you know, that's how most of the second part, like there's probably 9 or 10 songs in the set, and we pulled three that we felt were representative. So a couple of the old stuff, things from the new album, and then one from the first album. And we felt like, three songs from a live set that we're going to just do online. We're just going to sell digitally. We're just going to sell it for download only. I thought, yeah, that's good. That's representative. We put out the whole set. It's like you're giving away a whole lot, you know,
Yeah.
and, but like three songs is like, yeah, by the way, here's what we sound like live with, Elephant in the Room, of course, is we didn't have, this is among our first shows without Jack, our keys guy.
Sure.
And, we just kind of want to, that's why it's a celebration like in honor of Jack to some degree, and it's also a celebration that we're still here and we
Sure.
still have each other and we're still doing our thing. So it's a bunch of those things. It's the big it's a bigger picture, I guess. We just wanted to we wanted to show people like we're still here, we still sound good, we sound a little different because we don't have Jack, who we miss terribly, but
Yeah.
we are still here and the music's still here
And it's still
with
great.
well
It's still
thank
great.
you,
Yeah.
thank you,
And I think the
appreciate that.
three songs you chose were for the album, for the live album,
Mhm.
are indicative of like three different like sounds that you guys have. It's not like they're in the same wheelhouse, like these eyes in the middle of the two kind of like breaks up the flow a little bit where it doesn't sound monotonous. It gives you some
Yeah,
peaks and valleys.
yeah. The first one, times gone bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like a sludge song, I guess. I always would think of it as like a sludge type of song. Um, it creeps up on you. It's got that kind of motion to it. Um, and then these eyes is kind of like a Sabbath worship type of thing.
Yeah.
Not that I think that's a bad thing. I don't. When
No.
people say Sabbath,
No.
we just played with this band called Wind Rider. Great band, and they said something about it on stage. Like someone called us Sabbath worship, like that's a bad thing. It's not like and that's kind of what that song is too. Um, it's kind of like that Sabbathy. It has a theme to it. It has that signature. My, my dog is announcing the arrival of his son, who will be coming through this front door in a minute now.
Oh, it's cool. You heard mine barking earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah. He gets the dog gets pretty hype when there's the big boy.
That's his friend.
Yeah, that's his big bruv. Hey, bub, you good? Yeah. Okay. You can say hi to Mr.
What's
Mike.
up, man? Your dad rocks, dude.
Oh, he can't hear you because I have my
Oh,
earbuds in.
no shit, right?
Yeah, he said your dad rocks, by the way. He says, I know he does.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bubba. So yeah, that one is like our sort of Sabbathy song. And then Bummer Bridge, I always think of as like a bottle thrower. You know what I mean? It's a garage rock, has sort of the
Yeah.
mosh part at the end. It's the, tear up the place song.
Yeah, and I really like your lead at
Mm,
towards the end of that song. Your note selection was really, really spot on and just, man, that was really good song. I really enjoyed Bummer Bridge on this one.
thank you. Yeah, that's a fun song to play too. I think we were writing it when we wrote it, as I recall. It was a smaller. We used to have another guitar player, and he didn't make it that night. So it was just like an idea that I had when
Yeah.
we were writing it, and we started playing it, and it was just me, the bass player, and at the time Adam and Mike, our drummer, who's still the drummer, and we started playing it, and it was like, oh, this is coming together. This is pretty sick. And I remember saying, all right, we need to like a tagger on the end. We need to put like a something on the end of the song. And Adam was like, whatever it is, it's got to be rowdy. And I was like, bet. And I just came up with a rowdy thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's funny when you said Leslie West, he's certainly um, a hero of mine, as like uh, an overweight Jewish guy from the East Coast, especially this area.
He's Jewish?
Leslie West, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah, his real name's Leslie Weinstein.
Oh, that's a Jewish name.
Very, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Way
Oh,
different than West.
well, yeah. I think probably if I can, I'm not going to say I know for sure, but having a name like West is a lot more saleable
Sure.
than Weinstein. Although Norman Greenbaum had a big hit with "Spirit in the Sky," so who knows?
Yeah.
But Leslie West definitely sounds a lot more, appealing. He had enough going against him. He's a big fat guy. He wasn't attractive,
That dude is
but
the man. I love Leslie West. Love him.
oh man, his guitar playing huge. Not to mention he sang his ass off.
Yeah.
Great voice, and then he played the shit out of the guitar. Like it was just really crushed it. And just was like unapologetically who he was. You
Yeah.
know. Um, so to that point, one of my buddies actually did, who was at that show, said he's like, like as a trio, you're given that West Bruce Lang thing, like that. I'm like, yeah, hopefully without like the cocaine overtones, but like definitely. I mean, like it's not like we're particularly going for that. We're just doing what's honest for us. But
Yeah.
I'll take a West Bruce Lang comparison any day.
Sure.
Like why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Like
Now,
it's a huge compliment.
do you listen to like a lot of Leslie West and Mountain?
I have. I have. Um, vocally, I can't come close to what he does. He's got that beautiful,
Yeah.
powerful, high, like I don't know what you'd call that range, but it's a beautiful voice. So much power behind it, and like I think what a lot of people don't realize is like that era, you had to be able to sing.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, like oh, we'll fix it. Like if everything else is in line, you look good and you perform well, we'll fix it. And but in those days, people had to be able to sing, and like Leslie West could fucking sing.
Yeah.
Um, no two ways about it. And so a lot of the songs are very vocal driven. A lot of the mountain stuff is very very vocal driven, and then his guitar playing is just
Yeah.
fantastic. But like I can kind of get with like the guitar playing, but vocally I wouldn't pretend to be able to touch what he does. But I have made my attempts to sing some of the songs. One of my more ambitious one is I don't know if you know Theme from Imaginary Western.
No, I don't know that one. Is that a mountain
It's
song?
yeah, yeah. It's very high. It's very hard to sing. I think it's Jack Bruce on the record,
Okay.
but Leslie West sings it live, and or he has sung it live. I don't know if he always sang it live, but anyway, it's very high.
What was the name
Uh,
of it again?
Theme from an Imaginary Western.
I'm gonna listen to it after this. I'm sure I know it. I just don't know the words or the name.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's just like I said, when I'm feeling ambitious, I try to sing it and immediately get brought back down to size.
But when you mention it like that, like I'm starting to think now about like what is that Nantucket Sleigh Ride and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some of his more like harmonious like vocals. He really did have a good voice, but like I don't think of him as like a crooner, you know?
Oh, he was in a crooner. He was a blues shouter.
Yeah, but I mean I don't think of him as like a superb vocalist. I think of him more as a guitarist. But that's just me, you know? Like,
Well, no, I get it because the guitar playing is really top notch, you know. But even if you look at like something as commonly known as Mississippi Queen,
yeah,
he's blasting that John out, dude. Like he
yeah,
is. That's coming from all the way down there in that big old Jewish belly. He's busting that John out. Like that's straight up bagels and locks coming out of his mouth, man. Like,
yeah.
and like I said, I certainly would like to ascend to that level of but I mean I do my thing, and I practice really hard to be able to sing with that kind of like clarity and stuff like that, but my voice breaks up too easy.
But I
um
love that. That's what I like. So my
uh-huh.
daughter, I have an 11-year-old daughter who sings professionally, and she does musical theater, movies, and I mean she can sing. She's really high on the register though, and she's petite but she's powerful. Like she has singing lessons, so she knows the breathing. I love her. She's nothing but magic to me. But I
Mhm.
cannot stand her singing. When she sings in the house, I will have to tell her like you need to back it off a little bit. Like you're way too clean. Like I want some gravel, I want some like broken glass in the vocals.
Well, yeah, it's because you like metal, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but I get you. um Mike and I, our drummer, worked. This is going to ruin all of our Doom credibility. We did some musical theater a couple years back with his ex-girlfriend. We did um the Broadway show, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Okay.
You know that one? It's
I like
about a
roughly know it.
so it's a rock opera. um and his girlfriend at the time, they're not together anymore, but she has an incredible voice. This woman Brittany, she's got an incredible voice. And it was uh, so weird to like play these songs and like nobody's voice broke up at any point, and they're singing this crazy high stuff that's hard to sing, and it's clean. It's
Yeah.
clean. And I'm just like, I mean, I she sings on the first record. We got her to sing harmonies on the first record, and sing backup stuff. And that's why, like, I always like that dichotomy of the beautiful backing vocals, and then there's like some grunting asshole me on
Yeah, yeah,
top of
yeah.
it. Like that dichotomy really works for me. And you can hear that kind of thing on Little Wars. You hear we got some ladies to sing backing vocals, and they sing very nice, clean, harmonized
It's a
vocals. And
nice
I'm
chorus.
right. And I feel like it lifts it. I always said it was like the Skinner thing, where it's like, they have Sweet Home Alabama. They have like those beautiful ladies singing, Alabama. And then he's like, he's just, he's rooting and tooting over top of it. To me, it's like church. It's like choir, right? Like,
Yeah.
you get the soloist who's doing their thing, but then there's this beautiful bed behind them of, giving you a little something more for your ear.
Yeah. And I think though, like I'm with you there, but I need to have it balanced. Like I need to have the grit with it.
Sure.
Unless you're like, and I hate to say it, but like if you're like one of those old black choirs from like Motown, you know what I mean? Like their vocals were still clean, but they had like that soul to them. Whereas like a lot of
Uh,
modern processing or mixing or whatever pulls that, it seems, out of the music a little bit because it like perfects it a little bit better. I don't know.
well, okay.
Cleans it,
Well, I think
scrubs it.
there's two ways of looking at it, right? Well, there's two levels of it, right? Or probably more than two levels. One is back in the Motown days, they really had a choir. They
Yeah.
weren't making a choir out of like three
Three
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, like if they had a choir, it was literally a choir, and it was people who had sung in choir and were professional vocalists doing backups for many years. Like their
Yeah.
hit squad was second to none. So when they got people to sing backups, they were the the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Now you can it's in a can. Like you can get that stuff, you can fabricate that stuff. You get three people to sing. I mean, that's what we did. We got three people to sing the same thing six times, and it sounds like a choir, right? But that doesn't really allow for like a sort of slight deviations
Right.
in pitch and feel from one person to the other. And so there's that element of it, right? The other thing is the level of experience, right? Which I guess I kind of touched on. Like these are people who did it forever and ever, and where like they knew like the right way to hold their mouth to get certain sounds, etc. And now we have sort of like it, you don't, and that comes with experience. Whereas back nowadays, it's you don't have that level of experience because you don't have to do session after. It's not a job you can have
Sure.
where you do session after session making different sounds. Now it's like you go and you do this record and that's it. I mean, you'll still find it on some things, right? Like
Sure.
I thought of a perfect example. Do you remember that song "I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me" by
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got that great like sassy choir in the background, and that sounds very legit to me, like that choir that he has going on
Okay.
that song. But you don't hear it that often. You don't
No.
hear it that often. Um, the other thing is, you know, I think comes down to the writing. People are not writing parts for backing vocals that are as cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you're coming up with stuff that's just kind of an afterthought. It's like a bed,
Yeah.
like it's like it's safe, you know. I mean that, and that's the way times have changed,
Or do you even think they're just added in? Like sometimes they're like you said, they're not planned for, so they're added in as an afterthought. So maybe they don't like gel with the song as much.
Let me just close this door before it makes me nuts.
Sure, do your thing, dude.
um I mean, there is something to be said for like adding in a vocal after, like a backing vocal after the fact, where it's like, oh, I hear a thing, you know, like let me get this thing down. And like, I'll give you an example. George Clinton from Parliament and Parliament Funkadelic was famous for like putting down the song with the band, and then afterwards go back through and be like, "Ooh, I hear a 3 part harmony here," and we'd go in and throw down a 3 part harmony. But we're talking about George Clinton here. We're not talking about
Right.
Joe Schmucko in the, you know what I mean? Like we're talking
Yeah.
about a guy who also had the background of being in a 60s doo-wop group where it was all vocals, So
So
yeah,
I was raised and I love him to death, but I could kill him. My father collected records and he was into blues and like doo-wop heavy. And he
sure.
sold them all. He had like 10,000 or something. And he
Oh my
sold them
gosh.
all. And I'm so mad at that he sold them all because now I'm into blues and doo-wop. But
Yeah.
so that's where like I draw back to those sounds. And like I started listening, I started reviewing some records and like I hear nowadays, which I don't know a lot about the recording process because I don't record, I just listen. And so
Right.
like you hear like what I would take as like a chorus effect for the guitar where you're just splicing that same effect. And I don't know if it's like the mixing or the mastering or whatever, but sometimes when you're just splicing that chorus effect, like you said, it doesn't have that deviations and it misses and it'll actually detract from the record.
It's too perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked about that when we recorded the last record. um we were talking. I was talking to the engineer there, Joe Baldazar, who was at Retro City, who was a sweet, sweet guy and a very talented man. And like we were on the phone, and he jokingly said, "He's like, oh, we'll get this thing sounding like Nickelback in no time." And I was like, if it's what the record needs, like if that's what makes the record sound good, yeah, let's do it. He's like, I was kidding with you, but that's a very mature response. I'm like, I just want to make a good record, man. If it has, I mean, you could rip on Nickelback all day, and I have been known to, but fact of the matter is, it's not like their records sound bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you might not like what they recorded, but the recording quality is good, and like those songs make $1 billion. Like there's nothing wrong with making records that sell. It's just, I mean, I don't happen to like them stylistically,
Sure.
but like their records they're very well recorded, and they have appeal. I wouldn't mind if my records had appeal, like if they were
Right.
just my records, but they sounded super good.
Sure.
Um, But like, yeah, recording now is when it's too perfect. I mean, that's the other thing is they're sonically perfect, right? Um, and like, you have to like sort of toe the line because the way you record, these days digitally, which is the least expensive way to do it, which is why everyone does it that way. Um, you have to toe the line, right? So we tend to treat digital recording like tape because I'm old school and
Yeah.
we treat it kind of like tape, but we have the benefit of it being digital. So like we can fix as much as we want.
Yeah.
So some things is like could we put the drums on a grid and make them perfectly in time all the way through and every single lands on the grid and all that stuff? Yeah, we could. We could do that. You could literally make it be perfectly in time. Or or you fix the egregious things that are like not like that's not acceptable and the rest of it sounds like a guy playing the drums. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It sounds like a real person playing drums. And you have to make that decision which you want. Which of those things do you want? So we try to like toe that line. Like I always prefer to like play the guitar part as cleanly all the way through as I can and then go back in. Oh, I fucked up there and I fix that little chunk. I go back through and fix that. But you try to get like a single take. I don't like to splice a guitar solo together. I like come up with a thing or get inspired and just play it. I don't want to, like okay, that part's kind of cool. That part's kind of cool. Like and throw it together. I want to make one thing.
So do you
You know,
find it easier now to like because everything's digital versus like old school tape? Like it's easier to cut and try things now because you don't literally have as much work to put things back together. You could probably just hit an undo button. S-
yeah. Well, it's a thing we talk about all the time, and it's something Josh, our bass player, who's also um, the engineer on the record, on the records, we talk about all the time. We'll be working on something, and then be like, that might not be it. And then we just look at each other and say, like, seamless, non-destructive digital audio editing, because that's what it is. You can go in and fix stuff with and nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I said, you toe the line. Like you recognize that you could make it exactly perfect, but perfect isn't always what you want.
But But to take it a step further, last night I talked to two different people online. I talked to a young lady who, well, both of them are musicians. I talked to a
Right.
young lady and a gentleman, and we were discussing AI and the advancement of technology. So the
Mm-hmm.
one girl was saying, well, she was more into streaming and AI, but she was saying that like, AI shouldn't be involved in anything, nor and took it a step further to technology. And I was like, I don't know. And the guy was telling me that AI should only be used on his vocals because he believes against AI, but looks at that as maybe not making vocals for him, but accentuating his vocals. And to
Mm.
him, then I started thinking about it. I used to get a lot of AI music sent to me, and I would just rip it apart and refuse it. I feel like, there's enough musicians out there that we don't need computers taking their job. But the
Mm.
more like I get into like listening to AI or refined tracks or more perfection, I feel like you're scrubbing the soul out of the music itself. Like you said, if you had those drum beats fall like on the grid and you had everything like precise, like yeah, that might work for like one or two people, but you're scrubbing the human out of it. You're scrubbing the soul, the emotion, the
Mm.
love.
I'll tell you what. You know who didn't have AI? AC/DC when they did all of their shit,
Any of them.
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if they had like a metronome, you know, but when you hear Back in Black, right?
Yeah.
You can't that dan dan dan
Spot
dan
on.
that
Yeah.
little hesitation in the drums. It's very hard to manufacture that with a computer. That's a person. That's a soul. That's a heartbeat. That's how that guy plays the drums. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
little bit of lag, that little bit of drag. I find that very hard to replicate. It doesn't happen very well. mean, can you do something like it? Yeah, sure, but it's a lot more work. It's, you know, having said that, excuse me, having said that, I mean, I think everything's a tool, right?
Right.
Right? Right? Would I rather be talking to you in person right now?
Sure.
Absolutely. But is this super convenient? Like I'm in Philly, you're in Pittsburgh. Without some kind of technology in between us, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So it's a tool, right? Um, to me, that's a valuable thing. Now, do I live my life like this, like talking to everybody I know on the computer?
Right.
Absolutely not. But it's very useful. It's very fast. Everything gets done efficiently. So it's a tool that you can use to get something done. Um, you know, if you sang the thing perfectly one time and it was really hard to do, and you need to put it in one other place in the song, you could practice and practice to be able to get it perfectly again. Or if it's going to be the exact same fucking part and it's a backing vocal, why not cut and paste it and throw it in the other part? There's a value to that.
But to take it a step further, like one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite bands, my favorite band is Exodus. And
Uh-huh.
they did Bonded by Blood was their first album. It's legendary. Everybody loves it. They re-recorded it in 2008 with updated production, updated pedals, updated.
Right.
And theoretically, like just like you, Gary Holt could play that in his sleep, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But like it doesn't sound as good as the original to me with the updated everything, the better this. It just didn't the magic isn't there like the old school, you know? And
Well, yeah. I mean, there's something about like, I mean, and to come back around full circle to
yeah.
talk about this live record, right? There's making something perfect and then capturing a moment. Those are two different things a lot of the time. So, like, amazing records are when you capture a moment and you played it perfectly. You know what I mean? Thank you. Yes. But you see what I'm saying? Like, um, so capturing a moment is capturing a moment. And that's just what they call lightning in a bottle, right? Like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't happen very often. Um,
So where could people go to pick up Lightning in a Bottle, the Live and Loud record?
very
Because I
good.
only got 2 minutes left. I gotta,
Oh yeah,
promote
yeah,
your
yeah.
stuff.
You can grab it directly from us on Bandcamp. It's right on there. It's on all the streaming services: iTunes,
Yeah, listen.
Spotify, the other ones that I can't remember the names of. But like, yeah, anything wherever you download your music, you'll find it
And
along
it's
with the rest of our stuff.
And it's fucking great. You guys should go out and check it out and then go back and listen to the studio versions and then tell me which one's better.
Cool. Thank you,
So
Michael.
I only got a minute left. I want to
Okay.
thank you as always. I think this is like your fourth or fifth time coming by, and I'm sure there'll be more. Um,
My pleasure.
yeah, I could talk to you for like weeks at a time, man. And again, I want to thank you so, so, so much for all the love. And like, I was talking to, I think his name was Iron Lou from Baltimore about you. And so many
Oh,
people know and love you, man. And here's another one.
hmm. Yeah, Lewis is a special dude. He is a rock star to the core, man.
Yeah.
He 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 lives it. I think he lives in that leather trench coat. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Um,
And he came up to Descendants of Crom from Baltimore a couple weeks ago. That's where I met him. And we were talking. And like, we got on to you and like Benzotti down in Baltimore. And it was just so cool, man. Such a warm, loving crowd and group, you know?
yeah, yeah. There's not that weird competitive aspect where it's like, oh, I got something, but I'm not going to show it. Everyone is doing stuff for everyone else, and
Yeah.
it's one of the things I really value. A bunch of adults, mature adults, loving music and supporting each other. It means it's a very. I love the community that we have. It's very important to me.
And thank you so much for bringing me into it, man. Like I said, I told Curtis I couldn't do shit without you, man.
Well, I appreciate that.
If we get cut off, dude, I love you and I'll reach out.
I appreciate it. I love you too, bud.
All right,
And
man.
we'll talk later, okay?
All right, dude.